Our startup story today is featuring Allison Rogers, who is the founder and CEO of USEFULL. USEFULL is a member of See Ahead, and so we thought what better way to honor them than to have Taylor Whitkin, program manager of See Ahead, be her interviewee. So Allison, if you'd like to take it away.
So I'm going to just go through a really quick introduction to USEFULL and then go through some Q&A with Taylor. At USEFULL, we empower and enable corporate organizations, college campuses, and closed-loop communities to go zero waste. And where the problem we're solving is that we're consuming a lot. We're creating mountains of waste from our single-use to-go habits. And you might be thinking biodegradable options are my go-to when I'm at a cafe or in the office. Unfortunately, in many cases, those are just as bad as plastic, both in terms of the materials and chemicals that are used and how they're processed end of life. And I'm sure your dinner table has looked like this. We're all ordering a lot more takeout. And yet, in spite of all things COVID, Americans say they care about the environment as much or more than ever, which is very promising to see. We are also starting to see more and more communities pass bans and taxes on single-use packaging. There's some draft legislation in Massachusetts right now to this effect, some public hearings on them next week if you're interested in attending that. So at USEFULL, we're solving this single-use convenience culture problem. And again, we're enabling organizations and closed-loop communities to do so. So from corporate offices to college campuses to communities like Block Island, which I consider a closed-loop community. You can only get in and out by boat or private plane. And so how we do this is we provide our partners with technology and inventory. So we're app-enabled and have an administrative backend and KPI dashboard, et cetera. And then our inventory is stainless steel to-go cups and bowls. Each piece of inventory has a unique QR code on it and unique name on it. And each piece is checked out to a user and then checked in as returned. So we're able to quantify we have a lot of data that we can quantify impact, impressions, et cetera, et cetera. Part of what makes us so excited about our inventory is it's custom designed to specifically meet the needs of our partners. So double wall vacuum seal insulated, so it keeps your food or drink hot or cold for extended periods of time. They're stackable so that we save space behind the counter, dishwasher safe, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of our revenue model, we have two models. One is to buy and license the technology, buy the inventory, license the technology, or rent. Both are priced to beat single-use packaging. We know that most people think it's cheaper to go with single-use, and we're really trying to prove the point that it's not. We can beat the cost of single-use because we reuse it. It's returnable. I can go into a little bit more about the operations, but again, app-enabled, order as you normally would, check out and enjoy the inventory, and then return anywhere in network. We do have a 2-day free rental period, and this is designed to maximize efficiencies, contain costs. If you miss the 2-day rental period, it's not the end of the world. It's $1 a day late fee until after 2 weeks, it's deemed lost. So where we're headed next is kind of what keeps me ticking every day. It's all the impact that we're creating. So we're launching in some closed-loop communities like Mount Holyoke College, Block Island. We'll be running a pilot there starting this fall. And then we also have letters of intent with Novartis and Wayfair. And we're already starting to explore beyond the New England area, greater Boston area. And then I'm sure you all touch a lot of packaging in your day-to-day like I do, and we can't wait to tackle that single-use packaging in your life too, just starting with to-go cups and bowls. Really quickly, some team. I'm Alison Rogers, former management consultant and also formerly at the US EPA. Derek is our impact officer, and he was co-founder of the McKinsey Agriculture Service Line. Igor is our CTO and really whiz on all things technical, built our front end and back end. And then an amazing board of advisors, but I know Taylor has a lot of questions, so let's flip over to that.
Thanks, Allison, and thanks everyone for being here. I'd love to take a step back and just learn about how you got your start. What did day one at USEFULL look like?
Well, how I got to this point was I'm a sailor. I'm a water rat. My dream job out of college was working at the EPA in the Ocean and Coastal Protection Unit. I love it. And when I switched into management consulting, I was traveling a lot and ordering pretty much all my food to go. And all this waste was piling up at my desk. And I thought to myself, if I consider myself an environmentalist, I have a cabinet full of to-go cups and Tupperware at home. Why can't I make this happen? So I started to design what a circular solution would look like for my own life. And then day one of Useful was actually Coffee Cup Collective, and I was moonlighting. So I was still working full-time in consulting, and between like the hours of 6:30 and 9, I would stand at a cafe and test out, are people even okay with the idea of reusing, the shared economy, the circular economy? And that first pilot totally wowed me. We were able to sign up 75 people day one to pilot this program. The feedback I got from that was, love your mission, love what you're doing, hate the cups that you're using. And so that sent me on a journey where we're now doing custom design.
Nice. You mentioned your team. How did you come together? And sort of building off the last conversation, how have you been working together over the last year?
We have been all Zoom, or Google Meets, I guess, which at first was a real learning curve, and kind of building off the last conversation. Now I see it that we've been extremely efficient, like back to back to back, just getting stuff done throughout the day. I'm getting fewer steps in between meetings, but probably a lot more efficient than the in-person world. So I am excited for a hybrid. How did I meet Derek? So Derek started off on the board of advisors, and then he decided to take a career transition and join me for real. So I've been really honored to have him. And then Igor is a serial entrepreneur. He is kind of like a contract team member. He runs Fast CTO. And so I've met him through a handful of networking events in like the CIC community in Boston.
And I know you mentioned you work with interns. Where do they come from, and what do they do for you?
So this summer we have an amazing army of interns. We have 4 interns, 2 from BU, 1 in the MBA program and 1 undergrad, and then 1 from Mount Holyoke College and 1 from Roger Williams University. And so the 2 projects that they're mostly focused on this year or this summer are components of the Mount Holyoke and Block Island launch initiatives. So we have them working on some marketing efforts, some tutorials for partners and staff, and we're also kind of giving them the opportunity to get in front of these clients. I think for a lot of them, it's pretty cool to meet with the dining or the auxiliary services director for a college who has the vision of what a zero waste campus looks like, and is asking them for their input as a student. What would make you most excited about this? So I think so far I'm really enjoying working with them.
Nice. Yeah, we love being able to draw on talent from the local universities for our interns as well.
Yes.
You mentioned the Block Island project. Could you go into a little more detail on that?
Sure. So this is, it's something that's really exciting for me, because Block Island is importing single-use packaging. They're paying a lot to import it onto the island. They're also paying a lot more to export it off the island. And it's a community kind of at the forefront of climate issues, ocean plastic issues, and it's a closed loop community. It's a tight-knit community. It's an opportunity for us to move towards a reduced waste future and save them boatloads of money. We are in the process right now of quantifying exactly what our expected impact will be, and the adoption rates that we can assume, et cetera. But right now, with conservative models, we think annually we can save them hundreds of thousands of dollars in both single-use packaging costs and waste hauling costs. So it's really big impact for the community to switch to returnable solutions.
And I know you're interested in working on college campuses as well. Where are the cost savings there?
So similarly, maybe the silver lining of COVID was that college campuses had to go to all single-use packaging, and they realized just how silly expensive it is, like crazy expensive it is. And so now they really, and now most college campuses see that to-go food options are here to stay. So they really need to solve for extreme packaging costs, waste hauling costs, and the need to serve their community. So we are now working with auxiliary services directors, dining directors, sustainability directors to launch our returnable program on campus with the stainless steel inventory. Some of our other pipeline customers are really excited about the design of the inventory because it is that double walled vacuum sealed. They don't need to do, like the Domino's wall of lockers for to-go food. It's all contained in our bowls.
So where do you see yourselves 6 months or a year from now?
So totally taking over the college and university market to prove our solution, and then using the Block Island opportunity as a case study for how we can scale this to other communities and cities, and have cities or communities take the lead on building circular solutions in the same way that they have done for recycling and waste hauling. We see ourselves as like a third tier there that can save municipalities lots and lots.
Nice. Why did you join See Ahead?
I'm a water rat, and at the core, I see what we're doing as solving a ocean plastic issue, and that is why I think that we're nicely aligned with See Ahead and the mission of reducing plastic in the ocean.
And finally, I think everyone wants to know, how can the Rhode Island community support your growth?
Let's make it happen here. We'd love to see colleges, universities, corporate offices, et cetera, adopt the useful solution and start to build more of a circular economy here so that we can eventually scale to be statewide, Providence-wide, et cetera.
Great. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you. Thanks for the questions. It's always exciting to talk about.